It was rowdy at times on the Hill. Attorney General Eric Holder testifying before the House Judiciary Committee and getting into it with Congressman Darrell Issa at one point. The two have tangled before, though, during the Fast and Furious investigation when the congressman held Mr. Holder in contempt. Right out of the exchange you're about to hear, we'll be joined by the chair of that committee, Republican Bob Goodlatte. First, though, have a listen here.
I will certainly look at the request. It's not something that I have personally been involved in, but I'll look at the request and try to be as responsive as we can. I'm sure there must have been a good reason why only the to and from parts were provided.
Yes, you didn't want us to see the details. Mr. Attorney General, knowing the to and from,
typically do.
knowing the to and...
I'm not going to stop talking now. Characterize something as something...
Mr. Chairman, would you inform the witness as to the rules of this committee?
That is inappropriate and is too consistent with the way in which you conduct yourself as a member of Congress. It's unacceptable and it's shameful.
With me now is Bob Goodlatte, the Virginia Republican who chairs that committee. And, sir, good morning to you and welcome here to America's Newsroom. We just heard a little clip there from yesterday. What did you think of the tone of the Attorney General?
Bill, the tone of the Attorney General was fine for a lot of it. The frustration of members were, and you've probably seen some of the YouTube clips of him saying, I don't know, in a whole variety of different ways. But then there were a few points where members were getting, I think, to very pertinent issues, and the Attorney General, I think, reacted very strongly and quite frankly not constructively, because there are legitimate questions regarding Thomas Perez, his conduct of the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, and in particular the secret deal that he created with the city of St. Paul, Minnesota, to have them back away from a case that had reached all the way to the United States Supreme Court in exchange for two whistleblower cases against the city of St. Paul, Minnesota being dropped and potentially costing the taxpayers of the United States up to $200 million. That's a pretty serious allegation.
Well, that certainly is, yeah, but that was just one of the many issues yesterday. I'm just curious what you accomplished from this hearing.
Well, I think what we accomplished is, first of all, we did our due diligence in conducting oversight over the Justice Department and the Attorney General. And we had, in some instances, particularly with regard to the IRS case, with regard to the investigation of Tea Parties and other conservative organizations and other organizations as well, pretty considerable bipartisan concern about that. Same thing with the AP story and the apparently overbroad subpoena that was issued, where the Attorney General had recused himself. And we did not get to the bottom of that. We did not find out why he recused himself, and we will have to pursue that issue further, and we will very aggressively, because protecting the First Amendment with regard to both of these matters is very, very important and a great responsibility for the Congress. But,
and on that point, now he says he recused himself, so he can't answer the questions. So how do you get answers if he won't take you there?
Well, first of all, we're going to have to pursue the Deputy Attorney General of the United States, who stepped in his place and made these decisions. And we're also going to continue to ask why in so many of these matters we do not see accountability. Now, with regard to the IRS, quite frankly, I was pleased to see last night that the new Secretary of Treasury did take it upon himself to secure the resignation of the acting director of But when it comes to Justice Department matters, going back a long way.
Yeah, he was stepping down anyway, wasn't he, in a couple of weeks?
He's going to be replaced anyway. And when you get to the Justice Department, whether it's Fast and Furious, whether it's some of these new matters, people have an ongoing concern that when troubling mistakes are made, no one is held accountable. And, it's important to hold them accountable, even if if they're right that it's a lower level person, because that lower level person is not likely to remain silent if indeed someone higher up instructed them to answer questions the way they answer them, or make the the actions that they made. So it's really important to see in any administration, doesn't matter whether it's the Obama administration or another one, when there are screw-ups, people need to be held accountable. In news organizations, in political organizations, when people make mistakes, there are consequences, and we see on a fairly steady basis people having to step aside because they made bad decisions or said things that were inappropriate. But it doesn't seem to be the rule in this administration and in other administrations as well.
For just a couple of seconds left here, you mentioned the AP story. Do you think the Department of Justice was looking for a leak on that security story? Or was it looking for something else?
We don't know yet, and we need to dig into that very, very closely. But to me, even if they were exercising their responsibility to look for leaks, you know, it can't be overbroad. There are specific statutory requirements for how you issue a subpoena against a news media organization, and those apparently were not followed in this case. Why was it done in secret? Why was it not done with notice to the news media? Why was not their cooperation sought? And why was it so broad, encompassing 20 reporters over a 60-day period of time? There is lots to answer for here, and we will continue to pursue this because we have a constitutional responsibility to pursue it.
All good questions. Sir, thank you for your time. Congressman Bob Goodlatte, the chairman of that committee. Sir, thank you for